Frisk maybe going for an aggressive one. Not really sure about this play. He falls just a little bit short, takes a lot of damage before this fight even begins, doesn't have any shields left, has no minis. So right now, Frisk is looking a little bit worse for wear down here. They tried to push onto Chap's turf, and right now, Duke's threats and Chap are looking okay, but I don't actually see Chap up here right now. And I think Bully's taking advantage of that. They have the numbers game. Bully is all in, and he's trying to get into the box, and he does, gets the damage and takes down Chap, Dukes, and threats. It is now 1-0 over at Steamy Stacks to Bully's team.
Yeah, if you blinked, you missed Chap getting taken out in the initial opening instances there, and all of a sudden Bully comes in with the full trio, sweeps them up and under the rug. Now though, Nut, Zypha and company here holding that high ground. Joji down low with his teammates, of course, back to back here. Already 3 eliminations for them, so seems like they've had quite an interesting quick fight already unfolded. Now have another team landing right on top of them, looking to see if they can wrap this up
and try to claim it if they can, as Zypha tries to claim these builds with a beautiful use of the gas can, trying to find angles there. Has that green charge shotgun, but he's taken fire from the gas can he used. Has the slurp, has the chug splash if he wants to try and put that one out maybe.
Yeah, but that was worth it. 10 HP for a crack on the 72 for the shot that he hit right there is definitely worth it here. Now Six again, another 70 plus pop shot there. Not too bad here. The edit's going to be good. The knock was even better, and there goes the full on finish. They got this guy dead to rights here. Backed against the wall. Should be a 3v1 close in. And yes, they're going to full W key into the box here, Aussie. There's no way you survive those.
No, and this is a brand new team. It's interesting to see Zypha, Twexy, and Nut have only formed most recently in the last week. If you guys saw, Zypha was playing with Scoped earlier, decided that he was going to go split with him, play with Nut, and then they picked up Twexy, which is the ex-console god himself, and proving that he can hang with the best of the best in the PC now. So he's on the main stages, on the grand finals here, as I see Okus as well in the feed. Yeah, definitely. The biggest issue they were having was their drop spot. They were trying to go Salty Towers into NPen Zuni's an aspect that wasn't working. The way the FNCS works as well, same thing. Night before they've seen, wait, Zayd's team hasn't qualified. Let's go Hydro Dam. And they are one of the scariest teams. If they say they're going somewhere, I doubt other people are looking to go there, as Jack, Acorn, and Slacks beautifully use those 0 points I was talking about earlier. They each pop one. They get to dart into zone. It's so much harder to hit an opponent when they're jumping around that fast. The biggest risk, though, which you saw them counter perfectly, is when you go to use it, there's that like half a second it takes to activate. You are so vulnerable to any amount of beam or headshot snipe potentially, so boxing up on those and using them for later rotates, just showing why they're some of the best.
Yeah, for sure. Now polarized. They're looking around. Also, a couple elims on this team. They're going to be a-okay for anything that's going to go down. Ronaldo's going to fall in the feed there to AJ. BBG AJ, who we just saw just a little bit ago. And there goes that storm surge warning that I was trying to prep us up for. We knew that it was going to happen. We knew that the opening instances were going to be a bit of a war of sorts. And it was just that. We were down to 70 players after the first zone close. That is not something we see very often. That is not a traditional NA East-paced game. I mean, even OCE had more players than that. Like, remember, that first game we watched, we had no teams drop for over a minute and a half in the first instances. NA East is already ready. They're primed for the setting right now. In game one, they don't need warm-ups. They don't even need introductions. They know who's in front of them.
Yeah, they know each other. This is one of the best practice scenes in the world. They scrim against each other day after day using custom matchmaking, and man, their games are phenomenal. So they know how to play these ones. But again, some of those players they're used to playing haven't made it in. So there's kind of a few spanners in the works, and they need to step up and control something. Macwood, a team that's been doing phenomenally well, not looking too great right now, dropping back into this full-built hard mats. When we talk about hard mats, brick and metal, because they're just so much harder to break. And luckily, they had this base on the low ground to kind of retreat back into. And luckily, they have more than enough meds to heal this one out, as zone doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult for them, as looks like Lupin's going to get the pick up there as well. But this is where NA East does it best, Monster. The lobby's cleared out a little bit now as people trying to claim their drops, but this is where they show their prowess, how good they are at rotating, how good they are at positioning. I'd be surprised to see many people go down now, except for Storm Surge, and I believe that is on Jack, Acorn, and Slacks right now.
Yeah, huge storm surge down the other side of the wall. Sevi and Calculator as well. A storm surge team, a team under pressure, is the scariest team to have nearby to you, because they have to jump in your box. They have to fight you if they don't have a ridiculous amount of heals to sustain the zone. And it doesn't look like Jack, Acorn, and Slacks had that, because they were already inching their way closer to the enemies nearby. Nos, Jamper, and Paper do have that first half in, half out zone, and they also have it on top of the Coliseum. Don't forget, the Coliseum is an indestructible structure, right? So they are very much based up here, and the amount of extra material they get to save just because of the natural height they were given off the rip here is beautiful for them right now coming in. And look, Jack is still under pressure. Acorn's already out the lobby.
Yeah, and Blake and Oka's looking pretty worse for wear as well. Jack, Acorn, and Slacks, I think they tried to out-heal this Storm Surge, because there you go, it now goes passive. As you can see in the top left, 50 players alive. That is the threshold it had to get to. I think Jack, Acorn, and Slacks thought they could out-heal it, but unfortunately they fell short. NAE showing why they are some of the best in these stack lobbies. They pushed those Storm Surge numbers up so high, and now we have Paper, Nosh, and Jamper on the high ground. What can they do to control this? We did see the RPG in the lobby, but we also don't know how that's going to play into this endgame now, if they can do something with it to take the high ground, because they are established. You talked about it, Monster. They're on an indestructible structure. There's not many things in Fortnite you can't break. The Coliseum is one of them, but just like that, they get an opposite first rotating zone. 6th zone pulls all the way opposite, straight towards the northern coastline. So they have to decide now, do we tarp this whole zone? Do we build a layer all the way across the sky, or do we hit a bounce pad? Do we drop down? How do we get to the next zone? If they got given that zone, they were going to be sitting pretty, and yes, it is a bounce pad, but can they reestablish it later maybe?
Yeah, they don't want to miss the boat. They're gone. They're trying to rotate nice and early. Oh my gosh, double fried out the air there. Bizzle, Booga, and Clicks are hitting every single shot. They are on fire already. You know, Jamper and crew look like they had an easy pass here. Normally, when you get half in, half out, you are good to go, but not when you have players like Clicks, Booga, and Bizzle on the other side, hitting every single shot. And Clicks is going to continue the narrative here. And that was on to Zuni's. And now he's got, look at this free reign here, the angles. It's looking so good for Clicks right now.
So much damage, and Clicks going up onto his natural spot on the ultimate high ground. He's been doing this for this team for a very long time. Clicks and Bizzle, obviously no strangers to playing together. Booga, the new addition, but man, do they have their roles well. We have Bizzle on the front side, keeping this top healthy, keeping them in zone, and Clicks doing what Clicks does best. On the high ground, I talked about it earlier in the game, he usually plays kind of the Tarper role. When it's height, he is the ultimate height player. He plays for those big AR beams right now and makes sure that if someone comes up, they're not getting on top of them, because they want to hold this height. They want to go for that big victory royale when they already have 4 eliminations on the board, Monster. That's 8 points in this format.
Yeah, and Clicks just does a great job there, splits his loot there, dropping it down to Booga. So Booga's got everything that he needs to work with. Pepper's in hand for most of these players as well. They are literally coasting their way through this end game. No worry about the surge here. While everyone else has so much to worry about down low, they have infinite amounts of pressure here on this high ground game. This is their game to win now. Game number 1 of 6. One step closer for Booga, Bizzle, and Clicks. If they can continue to just put this pressure down, walk their way through, 4 elims already is not too shabby, especially considering the way the points are distributed now. Yes, placements are high, but elims matter so much more as well. They stack you up. They put you in comfortable positions.
The only thing I'm scared about there, we got it from that beautiful 3-way perspective of all their loadouts. I only saw one flopper, Monster. We've seen how many of these games go to heal off. They don't have that heal off potential, so they can still pull it off, but they need to do something big. When it comes to this end game, when you get to those final closeout 9th zone, they need to drop down and make something big happen, because this team has way too much experience. They know that if they can't win the heal off, they're playing for second, and no team wants to play for second, so they're going to start working their way down. The zone's pulling across. It's not going back through old builds, so it's going to draw this lobby out a little bit more. There's less places to hide. They're just going to keep going through those mats and the utility they have. But Jamper taking some big damage on the low ground, and Jamper, Paper, and Nosh have so many eliminations on the board. 9. Can they make it 10? No, they fall, but it's still a great game. Not too much placement, but a lot of eliminations.
And wow, that was all to the hands of Trick by himself. A full team wipe. Gotta give him credits for that one as he jumps in the box, that tree, blocking all line of sits. A Bully makes a top 10 there. So from his drop spot all the way to the end game here, not bad for him. That's a top 10 positioning there. Now, as we get closer and closer, look at Clicks lighting up the feed here. 2 more eliminations already swinging to Clicks. That is from that high ground pressure. That is from the angles he's looking for on this top rope here. But now, they're trying to figure this out. How they're going to win this game. What's their win condition? I think they give Clicks. Yes, Clicks drops everything that he has for heals, and he's looking to work his way down low. He's already on fire. He's already feeling himself here.
Yeah, that's the thing I talked about. They didn't have the heal off potential. Clicks has to work his way down now, but Clicks does this well. He knows how to box fight. He's going to drop down the layers, see if he can get even more eliminations, because I touched on it. They don't have the heal off potential, and I guarantee a team down here does. They've made top 3. This is where the big placement points come in, but second and first would be such a nice buffer as well. He's trying to build forward, trying to claim as many of those cones and floors as he can to make his way in, and we've got AJ down there. We've got Vix. We've got some teams that aren't used to being in the end games as much. Clicks Bizzle going back up now, and Clicks seeing what he can do on the low ground, dealing some damage. ADV comes up. PD Plague is going up. He's going to try and playground Bizzle. He's going to go for the high ground, but Booger's right there to back him back up, and they take it. They take game 1 win with 8 eliminations.
Now we are going to take a look at our standings and see how things are kind of coming out. So one of the things that casters pointed out, 12 eliminations in the very first game. So we'd like to talk about this consistency factor, trying to pair high placement, at least top 3, with a number of eliminations. And Reese,